good friend and colleague, Mr. Garret Feliciano. He is just back from Maui, and he's been spending a year abroad in Bali. And as you see the title of this gathering, this interview, I really wanted to bring him on here because he went from serving full-time to literally surfing full-time. The first time I met G was actually at this incredible restaurant on the bluffs of the ocean side of Maui, and he was serving, and he had this long sleeve button up, super tight tie, and now he is literally living the life of his dreams. And I just want to bring him on because he just hit an incredible level in his business. We share the same business. We're part of a global franchise opportunity that's patented and absolutely incredible. And he just made some big moves, and we're going to celebrate that as well. But I just wanted to bring you on, Garret, to share a little bit of your journey. So thanks for being on here.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to be here. And you just gave me some like heebie-jeebies with the tie and the long sleeves. You know, it's in Lahaina, it's hot, it's sweaty. And yeah, I don't miss wearing a tie. I wore a tie for over a decade. So it's nice not to have to wear a tie. You can wear whatever the hell you want now. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah, I'm super happy to be here and pumped. Destiny's right. I just hit a huge milestone in my business, something that I've been pursuing for the last couple of years, and it feels really nice. It feels really good. Destiny has become one of my good friends in this business. We've become family, really. Me, her, and Annie have been, working behind the scenes and just learning and growing so much every single day. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to share what has been working for me, what hasn't been working for me. It hasn't been a straight line. Nothing really ever is. And before I started this, I had zero experience in the online space. I had zero experience with social media. I had zero experience with selling high-level things, things that cost more than $50 to $100. So you just kind of got to have a vision, I think. That's a good starting point for myself. My vision was very big. It's always been very big from when I was a kid, but I was just lacking that vehicle and that direction of how do I get from point A to point B. And so for that reason, I kind of just been settling, in my opinion, working in restaurants for the past, almost 15 years, I think, if I look at it. But I don't want to say that because then it makes me still seem old.
Well, a lot of people are still in those that first beginning of the path that you started, just a few years ago. So really quick, if you want to just tell us, like, from those days of just serving people and watching sunsets and not really getting to enjoy them yourself, to sitting on the bluffs of Bali, watching sunsets from this ocean view villa and just actually living the life you always desired. Like, what happened in between? Like, were there lots of failures? What made you kind of pursue this opportunity, which we'll get into in a minute?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, it's not a straight line for me. It was a series of events that happened over a period of years that led to that moment that you just described. For me, I had a kind of a big epiphany moment. I would say about 7 years ago, I lost my mom to cancer. And I would remember just being in the hospital. It had just happened. It was official. And I was sitting outside on a park bench, and I was just kind of processing processing what was going on, what was life going to look like moving forward. And it was one of the most vivid moments in my life where I could just kind of see what was important to me, what wasn't that important. Like, it was almost like, I always describe it like, if you've ever watched The Matrix, at the end of the movie, Neo sees the code for the first time and you can see all the numbers kind of coming up and down the screen. It just kind of felt like that. Like, I knew exactly, okay, this is important, this is not important, I'm not going to sweat that, I'm going to make this a priority. And I just kind of had that vivid clarity that I had never experienced before in my life. And from that period forward, I just started to grow and learn about myself, is what I'm really talking about. I just started to learn about who I was, what made me excited about living, what made me frustrated, how can I overcome these frustrations. And I just went through this process of trial and error by reading books. I launched my own Amazon store from scratch. That ultimately didn't work out for a couple reasons, nothing crazy, but ultimately it wasn't the right fit for where I was at in my life. I tried multi-level marketing, low ticket multi-level marketing, which I enjoyed the people. I was surrounded by a bunch of badass people that were high level performers in their company. I love the dynamics of working as a team towards one goal. It didn't have that manager employee conflict. It seemed like everyone was on the same page working towards similar goals, and I really liked the energy of that. Ultimately, I just didn't like the business model. I didn't think it was a long-term solution to what I was looking for. And then as a last ditch effort to get out of the restaurant, because I was just so done working in restaurants and serving dinner every night, I tried a whole new career. I tried a career in sales. I did high pressure sales in timeshare, which I learned so much. At the time, it didn't feel like I was learning that much, but I learned so much. It just wasn't my cup of tea. It was too in your face, too shady. They do some weird shady shit in timeshare. So if you're on a timeshare sales presentation, just know that they're lying to you just as much as you're lying to them. And it is true, the stigmas are real. I only lasted a couple months in that, and I was like, yeah, this is not for me. But it was at that point in my life where I had just walked away from that sales job, and I was frustrated and I felt defeated. I was going to have to go back to the restaurant again. And in that moment, I had this weird thing happen, this clairvoyance thing that happened where, you always hear people talk about their intuition, and my intuition was saying to me for months that I needed to go to Bali, and when I did go to Bali, my future would be revealed. And I don't know how the hell I can articulate that, and I'm not exaggerating. I ignored this voice in my head for like months, and I was like a month out of work, and I wasn't doing anything yet. And I just finally accepted that I should probably listen to this voice, because number one, I'd been to Bali in the past as a surfer. I love to surf. It's a place that has very healing energy. And I thought, worst case scenario, I'll surf some waves and I'll reset, and then I'll just come back fresh and new. And so I took the trip, and I want to say on the second or third day of this trip, our friend Annie saw one of my Instagram stories, and I hadn't talked to her in years, by the way. We hadn't spoken in years, and she saw that I was in Instagram, I was in Bali. And so she shot me a message, and she asked me to look at this opportunity for her, to vet it for her, because she was looking at it. And I said, sure, send it over. So I started looking at what she sent me, and I immediately knew that the reason I had to go to Bali was to create that connection with Annie, and for Annie to show me that. Because once I started looking into it and doing some research, I started to realize that this is the thing that I had been looking for the past 5 years. And it was like one of the coolest, most surreal moments of my life. And I was like, holy cow, they don't exaggerate when they say trust your intuition. So if you're out there and you're fighting your intuition, let this be a reminder that if you listen into yourself, the most powerful compass is your intuition. So trust your instincts.
Yeah. Thanks, G. And as spiritual as any of us are, I'm sure that all of us have had a moment like that where, well, we've had a line in the sand moment like you did when you lost your mom, to a time where it's like you just knew in your heart, that your body, that this was a full yes. And with that being said, I want to ask you, because we started about the same time, what was it about this opportunity, so that we can share with, people that are watching out there, that literally made you stop in your tracks and your jaw dropped? And, for me, I was like, this is too good to be true. But for you, being someone who had really dabbled in so many different areas of really entrepreneurship, and even with a financial background, understanding the numbers and the logistics, what was it about this, global opportunity that we shared that just was it for you?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Honestly, if I hadn't done the Amazon thing, if I hadn't done the MLM thing, if I hadn't done the sales thing, I might have not valued it as much as I did when I first saw it. So even though I thought I was failing because nothing was working out at the time, those 3 events literally helped shift hone my vision of what I was trying to create. And what I was trying to create was, I wanted to be able to work from anywhere in the world. I wanted to work remotely. I wanted to surf exotic waves that I had only read about or watched on videos and YouTube channels. And I want to make life-changing money. Those were kind of the three stipulations that I kind of had for myself. And that's why I started the Amazon thing, is because I can just I thought to myself, I could just manage inventory and I can do that from anywhere. I don't have to be in a physical location. And if it really takes off, then, you know, I can actually make a good living doing that. I didn't take into account the amount of capital upfront that you actually need, because everyone thinks Amazon is like a really good business model, and it is, but you do need upfront capital to launch that business, to buy the inventory, to have it be manufactured in, you know, some faraway country. You have to pay for the shipping from the country to the US. You have to pay for a marketing agency to take your products, shoot them for you, so you have you know, media to advertise. You have to pay for the products to be shipped to all the various distribution centers, so that Amazon can hit their Prime numbers. And I didn't take into account all of that. And by the time I had to hire someone to teach me how to do this, because I had never done it before, so I had to pay for mentorship. And by the time I had done all those things and I got my products up and going, I barely had any money left over to freaking create ads and to create awareness for my product. You know, I was up to upwards of 20K at this point, and I was like, oh damn, I didn't think I was gonna have to spend that much money just to get started. So the capital thing kind of nipped that in the butt for me. And then the multi-level marketing contrast that I got from that was that, yes, I see the power in this model, but if everything costs $50 and, you know, or $150, somewhere in that range, $50 to $150, and you're spending $100 on auto ships every month, like, how does that work long term? Because I know who I am, and I've never spent $100 a month on an auto ship program for, you know, longer than a period of maybe 12 months tops.
Right.
So for me, it seemed like even if I built a huge business in that model, it's like building a foundation on sand, because people are canceling their auto ships. So you're constantly having to replace them, and you need thousands of people to you know, really feel the benefits of that model. And there's a lot of strong men and women out there that have actually done the work, and they're living an amazing lifestyle because of that model. But for me personally, the product, the business model, it just wasn't quite in alignment. It was close, but it just wasn't in that perfect alignment for me to have the conviction that you need to go through the ups and downs and, you know, really persevere through the entrepreneurship journey that type of business model entails. And then the last thing was the sales thing. And, you know, at first I was walking around the hotel like so cool, no tie, a lower shirt, sales shoes, my slacks, just like, yeah, I'm a sales guy. And then, you know, and then 2 months in, you're working freaking 6 days a week, 12-hour days, and half the time you're just sitting around waiting for someone to talk to. And it was like a complete opposite of the Amazon thing, because now definitely don't have location freedom. I'm freaking at this job 6 days a week, sitting around waiting for people to pitch. Like, it was just like the most agonizing slow death ever. So those three events like literally like reinforced who I wanted to be and what I wanted to create for myself. So when I saw this opportunity, it had the elements of the Amazon business, except instead of just selling in one market, like for example, I could only sell in the US because my products have to be physically in the United States for me to sell in the United States. With this business model, I can sell to anybody, anywhere in the world. This is a global distribution. Like, what? I don't have to physically manage inventory. I don't have to physically worry about where the products are or where my sale is headed. The logistics are already taken care of it for me. It had elements of the MLM model, all the best elements of the MLM model, which there are a lot of good elements to it, but it didn't have any of the negative elements of auto ships. And, you know, the price points were way, way higher. So that means you would feel success, and it would make a difference in your life way quicker than, you know, grinding in an MLM for freaking 5 years just to hopefully make a few $1,000s a year or a month. With this business, you can make a few $1,000s a month very quickly. And, you know, I'm surrounded by people who were doing it. So I believed in it. And then I found out the product that we were offering was made in Japan. And I had just literally on my way to Bali, I literally landed in Tokyo because I just wanted to hang out in Tokyo for a little while before I went to Bali. I was like, dude, sign me up. What the heck is the catch? Like, what? what are we even talking about? Is this real? Like I had that same feeling that you had. And I just remember just surfing all day in Bali and then going home at night and just like trying to do research, trying to debunk this scam that I was looking at. Like, where's the holes in this thing? And
Yeah.
how can I debunk this? Like, this doesn't exist. This isn't real. So that was my experience.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing is we have something so unique. And I just want to let everyone know that's watching, like we just talked about Garret at the beginning, he made this really incredible milestone in this business where, and I had to do the math on this one because you've hacked this compensation plan quite well.
Right.
So you're actually making, you know, between $2,700 and $6,000 per sale that you make, and depending on how somebody, you know, goes into their business, whether they choose a different way that's business forward or not. But that's incredible. That's on a direct sale. Like,
Yeah, it's nuts. Like it's what I used to make in the, you know, in 2 weeks or a month in my serving position. And now we have the opportunity to get really good at what we do because now we're not trading our time for money, which is something that, you know, most people do and don't even think about. But for me, I learned about this concept a few years ago and I'm very passionate about talking about it. And once you can kind of like break free from, you know, the hours in a day dictating how much income you can earn, then you don't have a cap. You're just you're just focused on your skill set and your mindset and trying to create that result as many times as you possible in the shortest amount of time. And then that's how people really break free from, you know, the paradigms that we've been taught since we were kids, which is, you know, work hard, get good grades, don't make mistakes. And then if you're lucky, you can climb the corporate ladder and, you know, you can enjoy your life, work hard until you're 65 and then you can enjoy your life. And that never really resonated for me. I always had like questions. I've always been like a free thinker, I guess, is how I would describe it. And I've been in jobs where that is frowned upon. They don't want people to think for themselves. They just want you to shut up and do your job. And that's cool. You can have that energy. I'm going to go over here and just go find some other people that kind of resonate with that type of energy. And that's the kind of energy that I want to be surrounded with moving forward for sure.
definitely. And that's what you're putting out there and that's what you're attracting. And that actually, like, I had one more question for you and that actually moves us into there really well. And with that being said, like, being somebody who's been studying ways, like we talked about, to like create an income and do something different and to actually live this life that we have, right? We have one of them, like, let's not spend it in a monkey suit, like serving other families, watching people live the experiences that we want. You know, I know that your business doubled, if not tripled, between the years of 2020 and today.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's tripled, maybe quadrupled at this point, right? So like, as you know, like what's going on in the world right now, how do you see something like this, a high ticket opportunity with a company that's been around for, you know, almost 50 years with something that's patented where you're able to make $6,000 in a day? Like how do you see this as not, you know, as a necessity, as an essential for going forward in this predicament, this situation we are at in our current times in this country, in this world? You know, how does this interact with that? How is this in alignment with people that are like, there's got to be a different way. I need to take care of myself and I need to watch out for myself and I need to build a future because it's pretty obvious that I'm not being taken care of by the greater good.
Right. That's a very good question. And it is kind of crazy to think. And I experienced this for myself just because I was gone for a year. And when I came back to Hawaii, at the end of September, I had sticker shock from coming back. I was like, oh my gosh, everything kind of not tripled, but I would say everything increased in price since I was gone, like 25%, I would say for sure. So like, I'm from Hawaii. I'm used to us being the most expensive in everything in our produce and all that stuff. And our cost of living here has always been higher than everybody else. But man, when I first came back, I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And, you know, I was raised by a single parent and I've seen what the future holds. And I think that's something that we can all learn from, is not just learning from our mistakes, but learning from our parents' mistakes and the people that are closest to us. If you can just pick their brains and ask them what they would do differently if they could do it all over again, I think that's a very badass move to kind of like circumvent being in a predicament where you're not controlling your day-to-day life. And it's something that I intend to teach people and help people overcome, because it is something that is hard to do if you don't have mentorship, and if you don't understand the social and the economics of what's going on right now. And I would say that your business, my business, Annie's business, all kind of blew up at the beginning of COVID. And I think what happens is most people are not going to make change from a position of joy and inspiration. They're going to make a change when things get really uncomfortable and it's hot and it's hard and it's painful, and there's trauma. And so what I think is happening right now is we're kind of slowly edging into this little rough patch with the economy, and there's inflation, and there's starting to get little dominoes are starting to fall with the housing market is cooling off. Big tech is laying off people, and these are like the first indicators that the economy is shifting in a negative way. And so what I think we should be talking about is how can we protect ourselves from this situation. And to be honest, the best way to protect yourself is to become the best version of yourself, to become incredible at new skills, that particularly sales skills. Sales skills are going to change your life. It's going to make you a lot more money than just going to work and doing the 9-to-5 thing. As someone who has always hated the word sales, who never wants to be salesy, and if you look at the history of my life in terms of my career, I was in sales the whole time. I was selling food, wine, drinks, alcohol. I was a financial planner, which was sales. I was selling timeshare, which was sales. But yet I convinced myself that I wasn't in sales because I had this dirty, icky association with that. And I think I got that from probably my family. I probably absorbed that from my family. And what you need to understand is that sales is not a bad word. And, if you can make money when the economy is going down, then you can actually make, a really good life for your family. Because once you're getting like Destiny said, like once you're getting, $5,000-$6,000 days, and we're surrounded by people who are making 10, 15, 20, 30, $65,000 a month, $90,000 a month. This is a real thing in our world. And I just don't think people understand the true power of online automated sales process. And as the economy shifts and change, more and more people are going to be open and more awake and more willing to learn about this opportunity. So I think we need to really turn up the dials and really amplify and talk about this more, because I didn't find this until I was in my mid-30s. No one ever taught me this. Yet I just was curious and I was searching. And I think that's what's going to happen right now, is more and more people are going to be searching for solutions to their problems. And I think this could really help a lot of people if things go bad.
Yeah, I think Garrett just made a lot of points right there, and just really becoming self-sufficient and taking care of ourselves and our family. And yeah, everyone's selling something. So just to leave it, if you could give one message to that person that is in the footsteps that you were years ago, just on the border of wondering, can I do this? What would you say to them?
I would just simply say, if you're asking yourself that question, then you're probably a curious person. You're probably searching for something. And instead of thinking about what could go wrong, start thinking about what could go right. The difference between the people that have this type of freedom, the difference between the people that say they want something, but they always feel stuck, is they're very closed-minded. That they tend to focus on all their problems. They take advice from people who don't have results. They listen to their mom, their aunt, their uncle, their spouse. All of these people they love dearly and respect, which is why they listen to them. But if they're not free, if they're not working, if they don't have that dream lifestyle that you desire for yourself, then you shouldn't be listening to them. You should be listening to people that have the results, that are living the life that you want to live, whatever that may be. And you should go seek those people out. Because once I started seeking mentorship, once I started looking for people who had what I wanted, all of a sudden I got like freaking 10, 15 mentors and examples that I could learn from and, you know, build from. Whereas before I would be at work at Merriman's here on Maui, and I'd just be looking out the window, watching the sunset in this awesome location in my tie and sweating in my long sleeve white shirt. And I would literally be asking myself, like, where are the people that are like me, that think like me, that want to live a remote style lifestyle, that want to be their own boss, don't feel like it's an organic thing to have to ask someone for time off? Where are these people hanging out? What are they doing? And I had no examples. And as soon as I started asking these questions out loud to myself, all of a sudden I started to slowly find people that had that lifestyle. And now I believe it's a very real possible thing for anybody. Anybody can have that lifestyle. So whatever your goals are specific to you and your family, find the people that have already solved those problems and surround yourself with them. So I'm super pumped. I'm here for whatever reason. You can find me on social media. I'm always down to give you my honest opinion and feedback on any questions that you might have. So hope that helps.
Yeah. Thank you, G. Thanks for ending that with us with that incredible golden nugget to just go for it and give it a try. I'm going to drop the link to Evolution Era. Garret is an incredible co-founder of this beautiful group we have, which, by the way, like, what's incredible about this opportunity also is that it's not gender specific. Like, there's everyone and anyone is able to do this, and they are doing it. And we have an incredible community here on Facebook. Drop in, it's free. There's tons of knowledge on the compensation plan and just more about what we're talking about, so you can really see what this is like. And I'll put that link in the comments below if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and like, and go ahead and follow Garret on Instagram and Facebook. And what else? Twitter. Some good
Twitter.
ones.
Yeah. I'm on those are my 3 right now.
Cool. And thank you, G. Appreciate your time. And I can't wait to do this again next year with you, or probably sooner, and hear about all the abundance and all the wealth and all the health that you have helped bring into people's lives. So I hope you have a beautiful day and enjoy your day while you're waiting for the swell to come in.
Awesome. Good to talk to you. And yeah, had a lot of fun.
Bye. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
See you later. Have a good day.